what?
Annual
That's
rotations.
the idea. We don't have many annuals in the community. It provides a real pop of color when people come in. I really love it.
But can't we do it with some natives instead of?
You know, I'm guessing that they're not gonna be.
They're gonna be hardy. They're just.
Think back a few years, Carol, when Davy got bold and cut down the number, but put in bigger plants that lasted longer. Remember those? They looked really nice, because right now, they put them in, they're supposed to last 90 days. They go about 30 days, they start to look like
What
hell.
happened with the pansies? They get
You
eaten
know,
by the deer?
I agree with
Frost.
you that the annual should go away. We need something that we're just throwing money after money after.
I think what we can do, and again, so,
Color, but.
well, so what we can do in the contract is, and we,
Flexibility.
well, you take it out, meaning it's bill at time of service.
Right.
Okay, same thing with your mulch, same thing with palm trimming. That's all out of your contract. You're not paying 1/12 of that total cost every month.
Mhm.
Okay, so take it out. So that way, if you want to come to them and say, hey, we don't want annuals anymore, give us price on perennials. Maybe in the summer, you're going with pintas that are gonna last you from spring to fall.
Right.
And then you switch it over to one annual rotation for like geraniums. I'm just throwing names out there.
Right.
For the winter months to keep you through the cold, fine, but it's a proposal and you say yay or nay, and then you move on.
Mhm.
And then you keep those beds as seasonal color, but you're getting 2 rotations. The point of it is though you take it out of the contract. So you're not financing 1/12 of it every month. And then if they don't last, you're going, well, shoot, I already paid you, for this rotation and it looks like heck. The goal would be when they put it in, we then hold them to a warranty on those plants
Mhm.
versus, okay, you're putting them in now as 1/12 and they're supposed to last for 3 months and they go 2 and then they take them out and say, oh, we're fixing the beds. All that stuff would change. We did the same thing at Celebration. Mulch comes out, you're not financing 1/12. We're going to reserve the right on mulch and palm trimming to sub it out ourselves if we want to. If we want to contact another vendor that's going to give us a better price, and we'll have it line itemed on the proposal. When they deliver it to us, we want to see your cost for mulch per yard, and you're going to give us the estimated quantity of mulch. I'm not providing it. We're not providing it because they have to do their due diligence to go out and measure the property properly and then give us that number. Okay.
Some of our beds need to be cleaned out. They just got
Well, so that, yeah, I mean, there's stuff that the biggest thing that I see,
Mhm.
and this might not sit well with others, is the 6 times a year irrigation inspections is bogus. Okay, it's whack, whatever you want to call it. I'm gonna throw some hipster names at it. Okay, it's terrible because, for example, what we're seeing on that half of the community is, and I don't know, was that inspection done last month? If it was done last month, well, they're not looking at that section of the community at all this month. So if you have breaks, if they're not reported, you have no way of knowing until they go back out and do the next inspection. And now your water bill has done this. So they should be, any contractor should be inspecting the irrigation system 12 times a
So
year.
we just need to put that in the new contract.
Absolutely.
For whoever.
And Celebration does it 24 times a year, just so you know,
No.
every 2 weeks.
What was the question for Tim?
For Tim, we're looking for the public bid cap. When do we have to go to public bid?
Oh, you're way
for
over
the
it.
alleyways?
195.
That's 195,000 threshold 4.
Yeah, you're gonna be over that on this. It'll be a public notification.
Not just this,
Formal.
but
Yeah, it'll be public and we'll have, the way I like to do it is we'll have a pre-meet. We'll come on site. Thank you, Tim. We'll come on site. We'll have I'll get with David. We'll make sure that the property map is up to date. The maintenance map is fully up to date. So that's something that we do need David to do, not to add to your, David, don't come with a change order. I'm just telling you right now, property maps are cheap. Okay. So we'll need an updated property map that encompasses all of.
hopefully we'll know what property.
Right. The only questions that I have really is, what do we want to do with pond mowing?
Mhm.
We have that buffer zone, that littoral, the upland littoral shelf is what I'll call it, because it's not in the water, it's on the bank. Do we want to keep that?
I've said it for years, mow it to the edge of the pond.
I-
That's just have a policy, I thought, for us.
I don't, I'm asking, that's why I'm asking.
Well,
I see you mow to the edge.
No, they don't mow it to the edge.
We've got a problem right now in that we have some invasive torpedo grass that's come in, has populated that edge down to the water line, and because we don't mow it to there, it's seeding and it's actually getting into our ponds and causing a problem.
we've always, let me interrupt you for a second. We've always maintained that buffer zone because we think it's a filter for stuff coming down the slope, right? Fertilizer and all that. The fact of the matter is, unless the water is deeper than the grass, you don't need any more filter than the depth of the grass. Having 3 feet of weeds and other growth above that grass area doesn't do you any good as a filter. So all it does is make a mess.
Here's what
We gotta
well, that's
watch
what I was
the
gonna say.
erosion.
Here's what I've seen done in other districts. There's an 18 to 24 inch wide strip along the high water mark. Okay, so which we're gonna call the pond bank, but the high water mark that's maintained 18 inches tall. Okay, so you don't have that 3 foot wide by twice a year. You get to 3, 4, 5 foot tall
Right.
growth. To your point on the torpedo grass, it's most of our lake banks in the community are non-irrigated bahia, most of them except for golf course side, right? So we can't even
Well, they
treat.
used to be.
They used to be, right? But we can't control weed infestation there. One, because it's not irrigated, and two, you can't treat that close to the water with
Right.
landscape product. Now in the water, it's a different product. So what I'm getting at is if you want to maintain that, what's currently there 2 times a year, fine. I can make sure that's in the specifications. I'm going to just make the adjustments because further down on the agenda is actually your current scope of services with notes. If you're okay with what's in there, I'll move forward, but the bigger questions I had were more, leaf removal, ponds and irrigation. Leaf removal's got to be in there as a property wide, then yes, we need to hold them
Yes,
to
and
it.
not by shoveling into the pickup trucks. They need to have some equipment. to
You know what's
come
funny?
in the back.
They complain that they get leaves back all over the place. They're using an open mesh trailer with little leaves.
Yeah, well, so again, how they collect the leaves, we're not going to dictate,
Right.
right? I mean, it's
But
more.
they need to understand that it's more than just blowing them from place to place.
Yes,
And
it's not blowing into bed or blowing
And
in,
we've got trees that produce leaves. trust me,
yes, you do.
sycamores.
Go back to your point about the ponds. The reason Cervello doesn't do it, because they don't have a side on mower.
Mhm.
They need a tractor with 4-wheel drive and a side on mower
Push
to
on,
get in
yeah.
there and cut them. They don't have one. It's been that way forever. So when we yell and scream at them every once in a while to get in there and cut it, they go in there with weed whackers and bushwhackers and do it manually and just leave the pile of crap all over. It looks worse than what it did before they trimmed it. That needs to be part of that.
David's got a question.
I'm in agreement with the 18-inch and the smaller zone because it affects the quality and the sunlight getting to our littoral zone plants. I do not want them. We need to have a company that is sensitive to Florida native landscaping and the littoral zones and ponds. That knows that, you don't just mow over all the littoral vegetation or, when they come in, and I don't know if it's Cervello or who, but they start killing off with herbicides, our wax myrtles and other things growing around the lakes and our nice ferns and all the beneficial plants that are growing and leaving the trash plants and the invasive plants. I got issues.
So you're good with me changing the specifications to 18 to 24 inch buffers maintained at 18 inches as needed?
I am,
Yeah, I'm fine.
as long as we have enough to erosion of.
So again, the 18 inch and the buffer strip are gonna, it's root to shoot ratios. The taller the grass, or typically the deeper the roots, right? So that's what you're really pushing. The good news with torpedo grass is it's very similar to Bermuda grass. That's why it's almost impossible to get out of beds. It pushes roots this deep.
Yeah, and the only. problem is
Unfortunately,
it grows out of
Correct.
the-
It's an aquatic weed.
Any management will be better than what we have now.
Yes, and then, I'll have updated, reporting mechanisms in there, we'll frame it very similar to what we're doing at Celebration with detailed reports. Attending meetings with monthly or as requested will be in there. Do we have any buffer areas that have to be pushed back?
Yes.
Yes.
So that needs to
Virtually
be,
all of them.
And we have signs there so they can see the edges of those buffer areas. And they need to be mowing up to, they need to expose those signs.
Yes.
And keep that zone, not, right now they're letting it get further and further.
But that'll only be the district property. So anything that abuts residential property will not be included, even though it's district.
Yeah,
Those
Oh.
signs are only on conservation.
Conservation
Just-
areas, yeah, the sign you
Okay.
see is a white sign on a 4x4 post, and it says conservation area, do not mow beyond the sign, and they're set up every 50 or 100 feet, all along those areas. Now, in many areas, you gotta go looking for them, because they're 4 feet in the grass.
So what may happen is you might have an initial cleanup.
Which may be code.
The last thing, and then I think I'll be able to wrap it up. I am reducing your mowing frequencies on Bahia.
Thank you.
I'm gonna reduce them to 32, okay, versus 41 to 45, I think is one of the specifications. However we lay that out, we can, but that's gonna improve your density of your Bahia grass. It's a low maintenance, low input turf
Really
grass.
not with it.
Well, we're mowing it too short. There'll be mowing heights in there. I think your current specs say St. Augustine is like 2.5 to 3.5 inches. That's not, it's, yeah, it's- I don't know where that came from, so.
Getting back to Billy's Trail again, do we, is that acreage part of,
We'll make sure David includes that on the map, the revised map that's free of charge. You're welcome.
Thank you, Dave.
Yeah,
I'm glad you went to our breakfast.
yeah.
There's your cookies, okay?
Are you bringing cookies too?
No, Angel, I don't bake.
Could have bought a cookie.
I think that's it. You know, I would stay away from manpower requests. I know that was floated. The only reason I say that is each crew, each company might have 15 kick butt employees. And if we say, hey, you need 15, you're just driven by their labor rates and they're, you know, if the company wants to send 30 guys out here for one day and mow the place out and trim it, does it matter? Or do they need to be here 5 days a week? You know, here's the best way to explain it. It's their kitchen, it's their ingredients. We're just giving them the recipe. I don't care how they make it as long as it tastes good.
Manage the
Okay.
performance.
Right.
The end result is what matters. If one guy can be here 24/7 and he gets it all done, so what? But the fact of the matter is, over the years, we've learned it takes 5 guys and 1 supervisor.
Well, again, that all can be based on how good the body is,
Sure.
you know,
Oh,
how
I
good the
understand.
worker is.
Right.
So, I will forewarn you that don't be alarmed if prices are substantially higher than what you're currently paying. Materials going up, labor rates have gone up. I'm saying it across the board, you know, because it's a real cost.
I'm hoping it'll drop a little bit before we're. Now, selection, in the past, have you used committees? We've got some fantastic, that face.
Oh, no, my nose itches, it's been
Okay.
itching, sorry.
We do have some folks, I don't know what their position, but we've got some retired folks who headed up the landscape divisions at Disney and stuff like that. I don't know how to rank a landscape proposal particularly well, so.
The criteria will be, I mean, it's pretty basic, it's,
It'll be price,
Personnel,
personnel,
experience,
location, experience, you know,
References.
yes.
Yeah, usually on a scale of 1 to 10, everybody ranks everybody. You turn it all in, you add up the ranks and.
you can also not do that and you can decide to rank as a board. You can talk.
I didn't know, I
collectively,
had
There's different ways.
sat in on a couple celebration meetings and they had committees that would do it and then make recommendations to the board.
Yep, you can do that.
You can do that. There's plenty of ways to do it.
Correct,
Is
yeah.
Tim still on?
You can narrow it down and only ask those particular.
I would
questions.
highly suggest on a job this size, you look at a bid bond or performance bond.
Yes.
It's an insurance policy for you, or if someone says, here's my price, and then they don't perform or they walk off on you.
Yeah.
They owe that percent, and typically it's 10% of the contract.
Okay.
So if you want that in there, I'll get with Tim and Angel,
Yes.
and we'll add that language in.
Yeah, I would
Makes sense.
recommend it as well.
Tim, you good?
Perfect.
'Cause we had,
I can look, I can do this all night, guys.
Yeah, you probably
Yeah,
got a
that's
cocktail
because
with
don't
you.
have to drive home tonight, right?
But yeah, we'll get moving on that. I will finalize the RFP scope of services and I can send them out individually to the board and not poll you, but just so you have an opportunity to see it. That way, we can, I guess we can approve it for next meeting.
Just do it.
I would ask tonight for a motion to approve the scope as Brett presented it. He's got everybody's feedback,
So
so we
moved.
can get it advertised and move forward.
Gonna move
Okay, I
in a
have a motion
second.
and a second. Any
Aye.
Aye,
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 passes unanimously.
aye. Motion to adjourn.
Carol, did you make?
Second.
Oh,
Make
wait,
the motion?
I did have one question.
David had, oh,
Uh-oh.
another
When Tim says
$15,000.
95,000 above, can be public,
Yes,
195.
yes,
195.
the threshold's 195 before you have to go.
That means the
public.
alleyway is.
Correct.
For sure.
Yes.
You're almost getting to the point where we need a public bid for you.
He's protected under a whole nother statute.
We have a motion and a second to adjourn.
Aye.
Everybody say aye.
Aye. Adjourn.
Thanks, folks. Thanks again, Tim. The only guy who caught any flack tonight was Dave. It was mostly positive flack, too. That's not bad.
I'm gonna submit my back, so.